Hello everyone. Now welcome all of you in my video lecture 3 on chemical energetics. Student friends, previous two lectures we have studied some basic part of thermodynamics, that is fundamentals of thermodynamics, laws of thermodynamics, and some basic definitions, basic terms of thermodynamics. Systems surrounding homogeneous system, heterogeneous systems. So this part we have studied in last lecture. In this lecture we are going to see some more terms regarding the thermodynamics. So see our objectives. Through this lecture, you will able to understand following things: state of system and state of variable, thermodynamic equilibrium, extensive and intensive properties, thermodynamic processes, and entropy. So these points I have decided to cover under this lecture. State of the system. First of all, we have to see state of the system. In last lecture we have studied what do you mean by system. System is the part of the universe under thermodynamic study is called as a system. Now, condition when properties. State of the system defined as condition when properties pressure, volume, temperature have been assigned a definite value, then this is called as state of the system. For example, initial and final state of the system. At initial state, pressure will be the P1, volume will be the V1, temperature will be the T1. At final stage it will be they will be the P2, V2 and T2. That means the value P1 and P2 are assigned at initial state and the final state of the system, and therefore these are the state of the system. First state is the initial and second state is a final state of the system. So state of the system is the state of the system is a condition when properties PVT, that is pressure, volume and temperature, assign a definite value like a P1, T1, P1, P2, P3, like that. Now state variables. What do you mean by state variables? Variables means the properties which are changeable or that change. Macroscopic properties like pressure, volume, temperature are called as state variables because their value can be changed. Now we have to go towards the next point, thermodynamic equilibrium. What do you mean by thermodynamic equilibrium? First of all, see here there are three types of equilibriums we have to study. First is a thermal equilibrium, second is a mechanical equilibrium, and third one is a chemical equilibrium. So what do you mean by thermal equilibrium? No flow of heat. If heat cannot be flow from lower temperature to higher temperature or between the two objects, then this is called as thermal equilibrium. For example, see in this figure, here a hot body is there and here cold body is there, therefore heat can be flow from hot body to cold body. But if you see this second figure, 50 degrees Celsius first body temperature, 50 degrees Celsius second body temperature, both the temperatures are equal and therefore heat cannot flow from either side. Therefore we can say that these two bodies first and second are thermal equilibrium with each other, because no flow of heat can be takes place between the bodies. Second is a mechanical equilibrium. Mechanical work is related to the movement, that is the displacement. No work done. Why? Because mass is identical, distance from the center of gravity is identical, and that's why there is a no movement of the seesaw. Therefore you can say that there is a no up and down movements. Therefore the no work done. Here in this figure you can see these two childs are playing this seesaw, but the seesaw remains on the at its initial state. These are not up and down movement, because of the seesaw is a mechanical equilibrium with each other due to the same distance from the center of gravity, and the mass of the both childs is identical. Then if you go towards the next, chemical equilibrium, when the reactant and product composition is identical, then we can say that both the reactant and products are in a chemical equilibrium with each other, or two solutions. If the two solutions, their chemical composition is identical, then we can say that they are in a chemical equilibrium with each other. Next property we are going to see is the extensive property and intensive properties. These terms are very confusable because sometimes we confuse regarding these terms, and we can't remember. Extensive becomes intensive, and intensive becomes extensive. So here extensive properties means the properties dependent on quantity of substance present in the system. Those properties which depends on the quantity of the substance, that means amount of the substance. For example, mass, volume, energy, heat capacity, all these terms are extensive properties. Let us see one example, mass. Why mass is an extensive property? Because its value is dependent on quantity of a substance. Suppose quantity of substance increases, mass also increases, right? And 1 kilogram quantity and 2 kilogram, 5 kilogram quantity, if you compare, the 5 kilogram is more quantity as compared to 1 kilogram, and that's why mass also changes as quantity changes. Volume, 1 liter, 2 liter, 3 liter, as a volume, as a quantity of the liquid increases, volume also increases. That means it is an extensive property. That means its value depends on the quantity of the substance present in the system. Second is the intensive property. Exactly opposite term. Intensive property means its value independent on the quantity of substance present in the system. For example, temperature. Suppose if you taken the temperature of 1 ml of water and 1 liter of water, the temperature of water is identical. Or if you boil the 1 liter of 1 ml of water, its boiling point will be the 100 degrees Celsius, and if you boil 1 liter of water, it's also its boiling point will be the 100 degrees Celsius. That means both. That means quantity doesn't matter. Quantity, if you increase, the property remains unchanged. This is called as intensive property. Pressure, refractive index, viscosity, density, surface tension, etc. So suppose see viscosity example. Honey is viscous in nature. If you see 1 kilogram of honey or 5 kilogram, 10 kilogram honey, the viscosity is same, identical. That means the property is not depends on the quantity of the substance, and that's why the intensive property is a independent. Intensive independent. So you can remember like that, intensive independent. So we will not confuse regarding the extensive and intensive properties. Here some examples are given. You can see boiling point, color, temperature, luster, hardness. These are the intensive properties, and mass, volume, these are the uh, extensive properties. Everybody understood these extensive and intensive properties? Okay, fine. Now go towards the next point, thermodynamic processes. Thermodynamic processes. You might have seen that different thermodynamic processes like isothermal process. See, first isothermal process. See, listen carefully. Isothermal process. Here isothermal means, the meaning is in the name, temperature is a constant. The process in which temperature remains constant is called as isothermal process. You can see this diagram, this graffiti I have inserted here. If you see this diagram, you can check here, the temperature is a constant, but pressure changes, volume of piston also, volume of a cylinder also changes, volume of a gas. So this is a cylinder filled with a gas, fitted with a weightless frictionless piston, and piston is moving downward and upward. So as piston is moving upward, expansion takes place. As a piston is moving downward, compression takes place. As a external pressure increases, the compression of a gas, external pressure decreases, the expansion of a gas. That means pressure changes, volume of a cylinder, volume of a gas also changes, and that's why here in this graph, pressure increases, volume decreases. This line shows that pressure and volume are inversely proportional to each other, and therefore isothermal process, temperature remains constant, pressure, volume changes. Isochoric process, here volume constant and the remaining rest of the quantities are changes. So here isochoric process, here this process is totally isolated from the surrounding, that's why volume remains constant. And if you increase the temperature, the volume is not changes, pressure inside the vessel increases due to increase in temperature, but the volume remains constant. You can take the very good example of isochoric process, pressure cooker. If you increase the temperature of a cooker, temperature increases, the pressure inside also increases, but volume inside the pressure cooker, volume of a liquid inside the pressure cooker remains constant, remains unchanged. That's why the isochoric process, the volume constant, remaining two parts, two quantities, that is the temperature, pressure changes. Isobaric process, the process in which the pressure remains constant is called as isobaric process. So if you see here this diagram, in this diagram, isobaric process, in isobaric process, pressure remains constant, but at the time temperature and volume changes. Now adiabatic process, the adiabatic process means there is no heat allowed to exchange between the system and surrounding, is called as adiabatic process. There is no heat absorbed inside the system and not leaving through the system. This is called as adiabatic process. Everybody understood these terms: isothermal, temperature, isochoric, volume, isobaric, pressure, and adiabatic. There is no heat exchange between the system and surrounding. Reversible and irreversible processes. Reversible processes, first of all, let us see. Infinitesimally slow process can be reversed at each stage by slight increase in the opposing force, is called as reversible process. The process in which This process is a infinitesimally small. This process is a infinitesimally slow process, not small, slow process, and can be reversed at each stage by slight increase in the opposing force, called a reversible process. You imagine the weightless frictionless piston. For example, see the first diagram. In first diagram, this is a system, suppose, and if you increase the P external, the piston goes down. If you decrease the external pressure, piston goes up. This is a reversible process. Slight increase in the external pressure, the process can be reversed, and this is a reversible process. And the reversible process is very slow because there is opposing force from the both sides. Therefore process takes place very slowly, and the process can be direction of the process can be changed, either forward or backward direction, by slight change in the pressure. एखादी रिव्हर्सिबल प्रोसेस जर असेल तर आपण त्याचा प्रेशर एका साईडनं किंवा फोर्स एका साईडनं जर बदललं तर ती प्रोसेस रिव्हर्स होऊ शकते. त्याला आपण म्हणतो रिव्हर्सिबल प्रोसेस. त्याच्या एक्झॅक्टली अपोजिट जी प्रोसेस आहे त्या इरिव्हर्सिबल प्रोसेस. In irreversible process, it is not carried out infinitesimally slowly. That means it is fast process. There is a difference between the reversible and irreversible. It is a fast process and cannot be reversed at any stage by change in the system, and cannot be reversed by slight increasing the external pressure or by slight increase in the force. The irreversible process are unidirectional. These processes cannot be reversed by change in the system. Change in the system म्हणजे काय, एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर वाढवला किंवा अपोजिंग फोर्स जरी वाढवला तरी इरिव्हर्सिबल प्रोसेस या युनिडायरेक्शनल असल्यामुळे त्या रिव्हर्स होत नाहीत आणि त्या फास्ट असतात. त्याला इरिव्हर्सिबल प्रोसेस आपण असं म्हणतो. उदाहरणार्थ एक्सपान्शन ऑफ अ गॅस असेल, ठीक आहे. एक्सपान्शन ऑफ अ गॅस जो आहे त्याला आपण म्हणतो इरिव्हर्सिबल. Then spontaneous and non-spontaneous processes. Next term we have to study is a spontaneous process. Spontaneous process means process proceeds by itself without help of external agency, is called as spontaneous process. स्वतःहून घडणाऱ्या गोष्टी, स्वतःहून घडणाऱ्या ज्या प्रोसेसेस आहेत त्याला आपण स्पॉन्टॅनियस प्रोसेसेस म्हणतो. जसं की इथे डायग्राम दिलेली आहे बघा, की the flow of water from higher level to lower level is a spontaneous process. Non-spontaneous process, the exactly opposite term with respect to the spontaneous process, is called as non-spontaneous process. We cannot uplift this water from lower level to upper level. If you want to uplift this water, you must use a external agency, a help of external agency, that is the motor. If you use motor can uplift this water into this beaker, but automatically the water from lower level to higher level upliftment is not possible. That's why the flow of water from higher level to lower level is a spontaneous process, and flow of water from lower level to higher level is a non-spontaneous process. Next term is a entropy. It's a very important term. Actually this term is a very important and interesting. Entropy, what do you mean by entropy? It is very simple definition of entropy. And entropy is a randomness of the system, it is a disorderness of the system, or you can make other kind of a definition also. Energy unavailable to do work is also called as entropy. That means entropy is a energy, but which energy? Those energy is not available to do work is a in entropy. Remember this definition. Sometimes ask in examination, what do you mean by entropy? So at that time students are not able to give the answer of this question. Answer is very simple. Randomness of the system, disorderness of the system is a one, or entropy is a energy which is unavailable to do work in the system is called as the entropy, and which is denoted by letter capital S. You can see this diagram. What do you mean by entropy? This diagram clearly tells us that what do you mean by low entropy and high entropy. All these balls are packed in a very orderly manner. अतिशय रांगेमध्ये ठेवलेले आहेत, orderly manner. Therefore here low entropy. But if you go towards here, this is a random arrangement. Random arrangement means an increase in entropy. That is a more disorder, more randomness is a more entropy. See, very simple example. Entropy increases means what? Suppose the solid is converted into the liquid. Solid is converted into the liquid, and liquid is converted into the gas. If you heat solid, solid is converted into the liquid. If you heat liquid, liquid is converted into the gas. And in which state there will be the more entropy, either where solid, in solid, or liquid or gas? The answer is that the gas is having a highest entropy than liquid, liquid is having a higher entropy than solid. What is the reason? Because solid is in crystalline form, and all the atoms are packed in a very ordered manner in the solid, and that's why solid is having a low entropy. Going from solid to liquid, the intermolecular forces of attraction decreases. Molecules move away goes away from each other, they move apart, and therefore intermolecular forces of attraction decreases, and they move randomly into the beaker or any container. That means the liquid is having a higher entropy, more randomness as compared to the solid. And if you heat the liquid, liquid is converted into the vapor state, and in vapor state, in gaseous state, the molecules are very far away from each other. That is, they are very random, and more randomness means more entropy. That is, as the distance between the atoms or ions or molecules increases, the randomness increases, and randomness increases means the entropy increases. Now, the property of entropy, it is a state function. Entropy is a state function. State function means, state function can be defined as its value. State function means the property whose value depends on initial and final state of the system. Initial and final state of the system is called as state function. So here S1 is the initial, S2 is a final entropy, and change in entropy can be given by the delta S is equal to S2 minus S1, or this is called as, the delta S is called as change in entropy. Now the mathematically how define the entropy. Now suppose, see again the example of the piston. आपण मगाशी पिस्टन बघितलं होतं. पिस्टनचं एक्झाम्पल घ्या. एक सिलेंडर आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये गॅस आहे, आणि पिस्टन मूव होतोय अपवर्ड आणि डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन. सपोज सिलेंडर इज अ सिस्टीम. सिलेंडर ही जर आपण सिस्टीम कन्सिडर केली, सिलेंडरमध्ये गॅस फिल केलेला आहे, तर सिलेंडर काय करेल, Q reversible amount of heat absorb करेल with respect to the temperature. आता हे ds आणि dq रिव्हर्सिबल हे काय आहे? ds म्हणजे infinitesimally small amount of a change in a entropy. म्हणजे खूप कमी प्रमाणामध्ये, इनफायनाइटेसिमल म्हणजे निग्लिजिबल क्वांटिटीमध्ये एंट्रॉपी चेंज होते. कधी? जेव्हा इनफायनाइटेसिमली स्मॉल अमाऊंट ऑफ हीट इज ॲब्सॉर्ब बाय द सिस्टीम. सिस्टीममध्ये गॅस हा सिस्टीमचा भाग आहे. गॅसनं जर समजा खूप कमी अमाऊंट ऑफ हीट ॲब्सॉर्ब केली तर एंट्रॉपी चेंजसुद्धा काय असणार आहे, खूप कमी असणार आहे. असं इक्वेशन सांगतं. फॉर फायनाईट चेंज म्हणजे जर समजा चेंज हा जर म्हणजे एंट्रॉपीमध्ये चेंज जर जास्त जर असेल तर आपल्याला हे इंटिग्रेशन याला द्यावं लागेल. इंटिग्रेट जर केलं आपण नंबर 1चं इक्वेशन, इफ यू इंटिग्रेट इक्वेशन नंबर 1 यू विल गेट दिस इक्वेशन. इनिशियल स्टेट दिली आपण त्याला, इनिशियल एंट्रॉपी, फायनल एंट्रॉपी म्हणजे मेजरेबल आहे. मेजरेबल चेंज जर आपण दिला म्हणजे इंटिग्रेट केला आणि त्याला मेजरेबल चेंज दिला S1 आणि S2, S1 एंट्रॉपी आणि S2 एंट्रॉपी, इनिशियल अँड फायनल विथ ॲट टेम्परेचर T1 आणि T2. हे मेजरेबल आहे. इथं मेजरेबल नाही पण इथे मेजरेबल आहे. ॲट दॅट टाइम इफ यू इंटिग्रेट दिस इक्वेशन यू विल गेट द फायनाईट चेंज TS. जर पुढे मी काही स्किप केल्या स्टेप घेतल्या, द डेल्टा एस इज इक्वल टू क्यू रिव्हर्सिबल अपॉन टी. इथं डी क्यू नाही म्हणजे इथं फायनाईट अमाऊंट ऑफ हीट कॅन बी ॲब्सॉर्ब बाय द सिस्टीम ॲट गिव्हन अ टेम्परेचर. सो हिअर change in entropy can be defined as the Q reversible or quantity of heat absorbed reversibly. Change in entropy can be defined as quantity of heat absorbed reversibly at given temperature T is called as change in entropy. Q quantity of heat absorbed reversibly at given temperature T is called as change in entropy. Now entropy when Q reversible is positive, that means heat is absorbed inside the system. If Q reversible is positive, then total ratio will be positive, that is delta S will be positive and heat is absorbed. If Q reversible is a negative, means heat is given out from the system. If Q reversible is negative, the total ratio will be negative and the change in entropy will be negative. So change in entropy positive means increase in entropy and change in entropy is negative means a decrease in entropy. Positive delta S increase in entropy, negative delta S decrease in entropy. And lastly we have to see the units of entropy. Very important part. There are two systems, SI system and CGS system. First of all, SI unit of entropy. We know the equation delta S is equal to Q reversible upon T. Just we have seen in previous slide. Delta S is equal to Q reversible upon T. So here unit of a heat is a joules, unit of a temperature is a Kelvin, and therefore the unit of a entropy is a joules per Kelvin. Now in CGS system we know the equation delta S is equal to Q reversible upon T. In CGS system heat, unit of a heat is a calorie, unit of a temperature is a degree, and therefore CGS unit of a entropy is a calorie per degree per mole, because the degree will go toward the numerator, that's why calorie per degree per mole. Or the CGS unit of entropy is a entropy unit, can be expressed as a EU, that is the entropy unit. Sometimes instead of calorie per degree per mole in the problem EU is written, and EU is means it is a calorie per degree per mole. Now so this is the These are the units of entropy. So in this way, in this lecture we have seen the different terms regarding the chemical energetics, thermodynamics, like the state and the state of the systems. Then we have studied, yes, 1 minute, yes, we have studied the state of a system and state variables, thermodynamic equilibrium, extensive and intensive properties, thermodynamic processes, and entropy. So student friends, I hope you will understood all these terms, and if not, then you can ask me when we will be in the lecture, or you can reply me on the WhatsApp or any other electronic media, or you can message me if any terms you have not understood among all these things. Thank you very much.